News.com to schedule your appointment.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning, Mr. Drew Goebel, is the superintendent of Clinton Schools, following up a whopping 6 minutes of Clinton Board of Education meeting Tuesday. Good morning, Mr. Goebel.
Hey, Seth. How you doing, man?
I'm trying to stay warm, my friend. How are you?
I am good. Yeah, it was a short meeting. We didn't have a ton of things to discuss. No discussion items. Policy updates, and the girls' track team got approved to go to an overnight trip down in Triad, down by the St. Louis area. So we had that. Passed a resolution for bonds that really that plan got put in motion in November of 2023. Mm-hmm. So that has been in the works for some time. So we just finalized that, but we knew that was coming. Mm-hmm. But besides, 6 minutes, not a lot of discussion.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're in school today, and I was at a ball game last night, and as all the kids are leaving, walking by me there on the at the press table, everybody's kind of like, "Oh, I hope we have e-learning tomorrow. It's pretty cold out there." And I think they must have known a principal or somebody in charge. So I'll talk a little bit about just decisions the last few days. What's been on your mind?
I tell you what, I was driving. I was actually in Wisconsin over the extended weekend. So as I'm driving back, all the superintendents, when the weather is not going to be great, we all kind of text each other and what are you going to do? And so we're going to have a snow day, we're going to have e-learning day. So we back in early December, I sent out a message to all the staff and parents, kind of our plan for inclement weather. And with that, what I'm doing is really what my predecessor did in terms of emergency days versus taking an e-learning day. So Clinton in the past has done almost a hybrid approach where we're taking some emergency days, and then we're also going to maybe take e-learning days where the kids, school from home using virtual or that route. So we've done both already this year. We took an e-learning day when we had the boil order, and so that works. And I see a lot of value in e-learning. It's better than nothing. But then the other day with the cold weather, the extreme temperatures, we took an emergency day. And the reason I do that is really following the plan, and it does when you take an emergency day, that you are putting a day at the end of the calendar,
right? And
that does exist, and you reverse time before e-learning. That's what you always had to do. You always had to just tack those days at the end of the year. So
now, weren't they built in at some point?
And they still are. So when you have to get your calendar approved by the Illinois State Board. So you calculate how many emergency days you can have. And then I think it's probably about 10 years ago. If your district blows through all those emergency days and you've used them all up, then the state will really I think it's called an act of God, and then you don't have to make those up after a certain point. But so we will have to make up 2 days at the end. But and the reason I do that, and some people kind of give me a hard time. What education's happening in June? The kids are all excited about summer break and things, but I don't like to take that face-to-face, in-person instruction that is happening, even at the end of June, because those are opportunities for the teachers to connect with the kids, and so if you do e-learning, while there is that educational value, it's not the same. It's not that face-to-face interaction, whatever you're learning, and maybe it's not science and math at the beginning of June, but the kids are still learning, and they're still interacting with the teachers, they're interacting with their friends, and that face-to-face communication, you can't replace it. And while e-learning has a place, I use it, I value it, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. And that's why I choose what I call a hybrid, where it's going to be a little bit e-learning, a little bit of emergency, and if we have bad weather again, I guess at this point I'm undecided what we would do. I'd have to kind of look at the extended forecast if that would happen, but again, I see value in both, and I'll be the very first to admit I like a good snow day. I worked yesterday, even though it was an emergency day for the district. I still put in a full day. I'm still there, but as a kid, I love snow days. And, it's great. So I try to find the balance.
Yeah. So what will the calendar look like then with all these snow days at this point?
I would have to look when we were going to get out. Actually, what I have, I'm gonna have to do it today. You have to go in and you have to amend your calendar because the state approves your calendar. You have to tell Illinois State Board when you're going to be in, when you're going to be out. So when you use an emergency day, you have to go into the system and mark it. I've used an emergency day. So and I haven't done that yet for the other day. So I'll have to go in and amend it and use an emergency day.
Yeah. Well, now I heard the rumor mill yesterday was that you actually called off school to celebrate the big 5-0 for our great Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers.
Yeah.
Was that the case?
That is the case. He wanted to have the day off, so yeah. I don't think the police ever get a day off, honestly.
So Mr. Goebel just stepped in and made it happen. That's
great.
Yeah.
I like my morning text messages between you guys.
Oh man, no, that's funny stuff. So when it comes to that balance of e-learning and emergency days, obviously you mentioned the e-learning days kind of help keep the calendar intact, but do you have a certain amount you want to use during the course of a school year, like kind of limit yourself to say maybe 5? I don't know if you want to box yourself in like that. But
it's a fine line. In the past for Clinton, and I'm not saying I will do everything what's done in the past, but in the past Clinton's done 3 emergency days, and then after those 3 emergency days, then we moved into e-learning. So we've used 2, but that's not. But let's just say there's a huge snowstorm, and we're anticipating tons and tons of snow, or for whatever reason, I might not, and we might do e-learning. And again, I do consult with the other superintendents to kind of see what they're doing, and that I like to gather as much facts as I can when I make decisions on everything, whether it's snow day or financial decisions or anything. I like to gather as much data as I can, maybe get the opinion of others, and then when I make my decision, I feel like I've made a good decision, not because I'm shooting from my hip, but because I've looked at all the factors, and I think this is a good decision. So I can't tell you what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
I will say every time I make a decision, a lot of thought goes into it. I'll say it stresses me out, but it does a little bit. It's a big decision, and I want to make the right decision.
Makes sense. Sure. Mr. Drew Goebel, Superintendent of Clinton Schools, following up the Tuesday night Clinton Board of Education meeting. I'm just kind of curious what has factored into decisions the last few days with cold weather, because we saw below 0 wind chills this morning, but also the same thing yesterday. What's kind of factored into your decision the last few days?
A big thing. When it's extreme cold, the feels like temperature in the last couple of days was, it's feeling like it's -20 or -23, and and kids are walking to school, and if they're not bundled up appropriately, and you're walking to school, or you're waiting for your bus, that is dangerously low temperatures, and that is, if I had a way to snap my fingers and they were just in the classroom where it's warm, then but it's the walking to school, it's waiting for the bus, it's what concerns me. And I even in my correspondence when I send them out, safety is my top priority. And if you have a kid walking to school and it feels like -25, that's dangerous. So those, and really that's what all school districts that we're discussing is, it's the walking to school, it's the bus stops. So
Yeah. No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the boil order a little bit, because I'm sure that was a stressful time for you as well. It felt like,
Yes.
I'm sure information for you was constantly changing. You're
Yeah.
trying to keep a lot of factors in mind. Take me back to those 5 or 6 days as you went through all of that.
Yeah, I want to commend the water department. They did an excellent job communicating with me, and they were in contact with the EPA, and they were under the gun on getting that resolved. But they kept in. I had a direct line with the people in there, and they did great getting back to me. But with that was one of the days that we did choose to do an e-learning day. And the reason I did that, because I didn't know, and even the water department didn't know how many days we were going to be off. How many, because, and again, we were able to purchase a lot of water, and I save a lot. And Neighborhood Care Center, they helped us out get that water in. But not knowing how many days we would be out played into that decision. But then we got thousands and thousands of bottles of water, and like, all right, well, we can do this, because again, if we can be in school, that's what I feel is best. Instead of doing e-learning, no, let's be in school. We have the water. My maintenance department did an amazing job getting that water distributed to all the schools, and we made it work. You have to. In this business, you have to be flexible. Sometimes you have to think on the fly, and again, consulting with people, partnering with the school, partnering with the community. I had existing relationships with Dave Jackson, the owner of Save a Lot. So, I just gave him a call, and Neighborhood Care Center, Cody Monkman, just gave so we're all working together. We're a small town. We have to help each other out, and it's one of the reasons why I love Clinton, is because we are a community, and we have a boil order, and it's affecting the whole community. So what do? We work together, and we don't. And I believe the water department was doing everything they could to try to get it fixed as fast as they could. That was a tough spot that they're in. So. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, and I'm not here to second guess you. That's not why I asked this question.
No.
But we were in school one day with a boil order. We were out of school the next. We were back in school, and then Monday we're out.
Yeah.
Go through that timeline of deciding on what goes into your decisions and all of that.
Well, one of the days that we are out of school, and I think that wasn't e-learning, it was because the shipment of water, like literally a truck of water, was arriving on that Monday. So I needed to get the water in and get it distributed, and it was the amount of time, because I'm trying to think of the days. I think that I knew that the boil order was gonna be affecting us at like 2 or 3 o'clock the day before, and there wasn't enough time to get the water in, get it distributed. So now I'm kind of calculating what do we need to do. So I called the e-learning day to buy us a day, one day to get the water distributed. So then the next day, I think which was a Friday, we came to school, and we had water, clean bottled water for everyone. So then that was on a Friday, and then we were good to go. And then I think by, the calendar, and then by the Monday we were good to go, because we had, I think at that.
I thought we went to an e-learning day Monday too.
I think we just did. No, I think we just had one e-learning day due to the boil order.
Okay.
Because we had a snow day during a school improvement day, but the kids were out anyways. But
that's right. Monday
so
it was
teacher, the teacher, and I'll talk about that. So in our calendar, we have scheduled school improvement days where the kids stay home, but we amp up our professional development, and the teachers. We have trainers, and every school district does that. So on that day, we had a remote professional development day, and it worked. It was amazing, because the trainers, we had SEL training. We've talked about SEL in the past, but those trainers did the training remotely, and principals were able to conduct meetings virtually, and we did breakout sessions. So that worked out. That worked out amazing. So, because if we wouldn't have done the remote school improvement day, we would have had to tack the SIP day at the end of the year instead of in the middle. And we had and our SIP days, we plan these things out months in advance, and we line up trainers, and so I'm glad that we were able to do the virtual SIP day.
And then the Tuesday was a snow day, right?
Gosh, I'd have to look at the calendar, Seth, but I know I know we've used 2 emergency days.
Yeah.
And I believe we've used 1 e-learning day with the students.
Okay.
And I know we've done 1 remote SIP day. I tell you what, I don't have a calendar in front of me, and it's been an interesting January, to say the least, between extreme cold, all the snow, throw a boiler order in. It's been a unique January.
Yep, it really has. One for the books for sure, Mr. Goebel. Let's break here, my friend. Come back with some more. Drew Goebel is the superintendent of Clinton Schools, following up the Tuesday Board of Education meeting. More to come on the morning show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network, a steady start for corn, beans higher, and Chicago wheat higher. March corn opening $4.90 3/4 up 3/4. May corn up half a penny, $5 1/4, and July corn $5.01 1/4 up 1/4. March beans starting the day $10.71 1/2 up 4 1/4. May beans $10.82 up 4 1/4. July beans $10.90 1/2 up 3 1/4. March Chicago wheat $5.63 1/2 up 4 3/4. May wheat up 4 1/2 $5.76. July wheat $5.86 up 4 1/4. March bean meal $3.14.90, that's up 3.90, and March bean oil $45.53, down 24 cents. Opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Happy New Year from all of us at Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Most of our customers trade for a different SUV or truck because their needs change each year. That's good because we have transportation options for you. Plus, we need your trade. Our selection of top quality pre-owned trades come from you. Come see our ever-changing new Chevrolet and Buick inventory today. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
Are you wanting to learn more about your health and wellness options in Central Illinois? Visit stealthwellness.com or click on my banner ad at DeWittDailyNews.com. Let me, Dr. Bill Byers, show you some simple, under-the-radar ways to improve and take control of your health.
Hi, I'm Brett with Central Cremation Center, and we proudly serve all of Central Illinois. We offer the most affordable and convenient arrangements in the area with plans starting at just $795. Many of our plans are available by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest in studio today, Mr. Drew Goebel, is the superintendent of Clinton Schools, following up the Tuesday night Clinton Board of Education meeting. And Mr. Goebel, I know when you and I caught up last, we were we couldn't quite talk about it yet, but then we were able to a few days later. Some exciting news about your spring sports facilities. Speak to this a little bit.
Yeah, and I know you've talked on the radio with the city planners, and so we so in the spring we will have the city with the TIF district. We're going to have, it's been it's in the journal. We're going to have turf baseball. The varsity baseball field will be turfed. Mm-hmm. And the varsity softball field, the whole thing will be turfed infield and outfield, and then the smaller diamonds on the side closest to the high school, those softball diamonds, the infields will be turfed, but the outfield will remain grass, mm-hmm. And then the JV or the junior high baseball field, that infield will be turfed. So we've partnered with the city on that, and those projects are not coming. Not a penny of those projects will come from the school district our operations and maintenance fund. And I've talked again about how there's different funds with operations and maintenance fund, ed fund, transportation fund, all these different buckets of money that you have to pull from, and you can't switch it around. So these baseball and softball fields will be paid for with TIF dollars, TIF revenue, because the TIF expired. So the city came to me a couple months ago with this plan, and I think it was great. So we have that. So ATG, the same company that did the football field and the track, they are also going to do the baseball and softball diamond. So and they're telling me, Seth, that they will have it ready to go by spring sports.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah, and it's the same company that did Monticello. If you've been over to Monticello, you've seen their baseball and softball, same company, and they. Eureka, they've used ATG. They don't have baseball and softball, but they have a turf football field. So, and ATG's been around for many years. They're based out of like the St. Louis area, but they're multi-state. And
so I follow them on Twitter,
Yeah.
and they post every now and then like a highlight of the facilities they've done. Oh my gosh, the work they do is amazing.
Yeah, I could not be happier with them as a company. They're very, very organized, very upfront. No surprises.
No games.
No games. And I've had companies that have tried to pull fast ones here and there. And anytime there's a big, huge project like this, we have architects that oversee it to make sure that everything's being followed. Because if it's not being followed, we have a contract and we're like, hey, says right here you need to, but ATG's been amazing. So
it's incredible they're able to pivot so quickly.
Yeah, and they're also, we have our new bleachers again on the west side. Everyone knows that by now. So they're doing the bleachers and the press box.
Now have the home bleachers been taken out already?
All of them.
Yeah, I thought so.
All
I
the
thought I drove by
bleachers
and
on
saw
both
that.
sides, and then there was a storage building underneath the current home bleachers. Our bleachers kind of went over the top of it. That building, that's
gone?
That's gone.
Oh wow.
So we've partnered.
Will the bleachers be up for track season?
Yeah. They're telling me, Seth, everything will be ready to go.
Wow.
Bleachers. Again, things happen. I don't want to box ATG into a corner because, things do happen. But they're telling me they're very confident that spring track and field of this year, our fans will be in the brand new grandstand, and the visitor bleachers will be there.
The press box, will it be ready?
Press box.
No kidding.
Yeah. So they're
Nice.
saying so while they're really going to have to be simultaneously, while the bleachers are getting put up over by the football field, the baseball fields and softball fields are going to be getting taken care of.
You know what you need to do? You need to take and put a camera up on that little corner of your building there, right where that, like, kind of down from your office, and just kind of have like a rotating camera of like all the work going on. People can watch in real time.
I tell you, it'll be. I thought last year was, we had all the boilers and the chiller and we had all that, but now, this year we're going to have
a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Well, Mr. Goebel, always good to see you, sir. Thanks for making time for us. Drew Goebel, Clinton School Superintendent. Network News on the way.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM.